Hello. I hope this is going to work. This is my first ever time going live on Instagram. And everybody keeps telling me I need to do more on Instagram. So I thought, I'll come on over and I'll do something in Instagram. And I don't know how this works. So bear with me. And also I've set it to share automatically to Facebook. So I don't know. Where is it going to share to Facebook? Oh, I don't think I've set that. It might just be sharing randomly to Facebook somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, what did I want to say today? Oh, what's happening here? We're telling your followers that you've started a live video. Hold on. We're telling more followers to join your video. That's a bit weird. Why are they telling people to join my video? Anyway, if anybody's watching this, do say hello. I've no idea how this works. It's my first time. I don't even know if you can hear me. I'm just going to do this one and we'll see how it goes. So anyway, why am I on Instagram today? The reason is because I had a little text chat this morning with a very old friend. By old, I don't mean necessarily old in age, but I've known her since school, and you know who you are if you keep sight of this. We were talking about various things and various issues, and something that had cleared up for her, that she'd something that had come on in middle life, and that had continued as she went through sort of before midlife. I think it was related to children, and then as sort of perimenopausal years went on, it didn't improve. It sort of got a bit worse. But then suddenly it cleared up, and she hadn't done anything about it, but it had cleared up. And when I said, "Oh, that's great, isn't it?" she said, "Yeah, I kind of assumed that, with age it was just on a downward slope." And I don't like that kind of wording. I hate it. And if anybody starts talking about downward slope and a downhill slope or a downward spiral because of age, I start getting very sort of prickly about that, because I genuinely don't believe that we get worse with age. I think we just get better. And too many times we buy into these narratives. We buy into this stuff that, it's downhill from 30, or it's downhill from 40 or 50 or 60 or whatever it is, and that we just get worse. We don't. We get better. We evolve. We change. But we don't get worse. And we then we had this sort of text conversation about, how much effort do we need to put in to make sure that we maintain our own health, both physically and mentally. And I think, it's a combination of genes, isn't it, how well we age. But also it's very much our personal responsibility and what we can put in to help the situation and to prolong being healthy. And one of the things that we talk about is, so for example, muddled thinking. And somebody yesterday said to me, they were trying to remember something, and said, "Oh, I'm having a senior moment." And I think this woman was younger than me, so she was, she wasn't even in her 50s yet. And she was saying, "I'm having a senior moment." And I thought, no, stop. You're not having a senior moment. You're just a bit muddled. And most of us know that perimenopause and menopause can bring on muddled thinking. It doesn't help when our hormones are going all over the shop, as it didn't help when we were going through puberty and our thinking was a bit muddled back then, wasn't it? But we assume, therefore, that, once it started, that then this is it, because of that downhill spiral. We're just, we've reached somewhere and then we're going downhill from here on. Whereas actually, post-menopause, and if we put some effort into our brain power, like trying to remember things, like remembering lists, like using a map instead of relying on our iPhone, for example, we may find that our muddled thinking becomes less. Same with achy bones. You might get achy bones as you're going through perimenopause and menopause, but then you might find that your bones are considerably less achy post-menopause, whereas you might have assumed that this was it. And I've done the same thing. Some things happen, and I've thought, oh, this is it now. And then it gets better or it changes, and it's fine. It's like that thing, when we think, say we've got, you know, pain in our hip. I get pain in my hip and I think, oh, it's an age thing. But I haven't got pain in my other hip. So if it was an age thing, surely I'd have pain in both my hips, wouldn't I? It's actually probably much more likely because I sit down too much. Here I am sitting down at my desk, although I have swapped it. I've now got my bouncy balls, so I can bounce all the time. Rather than necessarily age, right? So I want us to stop all this ageist narrative that we do ourselves. Stop doing about senior moments. So if you catch yourself, you know, if you forget something, if you go into the house and you forget something, don't say you're having a senior moment, because I bet you bottom dollar there are women in their 20s, teenagers in their 30s who are equally forgetful. When I called the lady yesterday on this, she said, well, I do have a lot more of those moments now, but maybe that's just menopause. Maybe that's going through that, you know, hormonal upheaval, and actually things will calm down later and she won't be so forgetful. We don't know. But let's not assume that it's all downhill from here on in, because it ain't. But we do need to invest in ourselves. We do need to take better care of ourselves. And I think midlife menopause is this fantastic time when we can actually stop. We can pause. We can do that menopause. I know the advert. I love the advert, actually, which is about out at the moment, which says me, no pause. And I think that's very, very, very good, because it's all about empowering women to not buy into that, you know, life is over when they've hit the menopause and they're just going to keep going. But I do think it's a good time to pause and think, okay, my body is reacting in certain ways. Why is it doing this? Be curious. And I believe, so for example, you know, the things that cause hot flushes are caffeine, sugar, alcohol. We know that those things aren't particularly good for us. So it's kind of like the body saying, look, girl, you can carry on doing all this stuff to yourself, and I'm going to give you some symptoms, like a hot flush, to show you that this isn't the best way of looking after yourself. And you can either choose to ignore that, or you can listen to it. You can do something about it. So I don't have any caffeine. I try not to have too much sugar. Chocolate is my devil. And I try and keep up my exercise. And I often don't manage it, you know. I mean, this winter has been tricky. I just wanted to hibernate. I'm carrying at least 5 pounds that I don't really want to be carrying. I'm heavier than I am. I'm heavier than I've ever been, actually, and I don't like it. But, you know, I'm going to try and do something about that. I keep saying I'm going to do something about it, but I will. But these are choices that we make, aren't they? They're choices that we make, whether or not we just go, well, it doesn't really matter, or whether we want to keep fit. And I'll tell you a little personal story for me, something that really, really guides me. And the reason for why I am, there's many reasons, but one of the reasons why I am determined to stay as healthy as I possibly can, without being fanatical, but being conscious of putting in an effort, is because my own father took early retirement at 50, and he sat down in a chair, and by 75 he was dead. And he got a condition called cerebellar ataxia. And once he'd got that condition, he had a convenient label. He had a label that said, oh, I've got something now. But I don't believe, personally, that he would have got cerebellar ataxia if he had been up and about and exercising and doing what he needed to be doing, if he had eaten less and hadn't been obese. He was, you know, pretty obese. And if he hadn't drunk so much. So that's my own personal story. And I saw this happening to him, and, you know, there's that saying, isn't it? Chair-shaped people are not very healthy. So, you know, some of you might think I am a bit fanatical about, you know, what I try and do. But I think it's really important, and I think that midlife and menopause is a time when we can reflect, we can think about these things, but we can also challenge that ageist thinking, that those stereotypes, and say, no, I don't have senior moments, I have a moment of forgetfulness. Let's not allow society to put that age label on us, and let's not think in terms of now I'm on a downward slope, now I'm going downhill. Because as I said to somebody the other day, and they really liked this, and I'm always saying this actually, if you look at what you achieve between 20 and 50, it's probably quite a lot. Well, average life expectancy in the UK is 81 now. I think in the US it's like 85, 86, something like that. So we, at 50, we have another 30 good years of life, hopefully, if we look after ourselves, if we make an effort, if we do the things that we actually know we need to do, like stretching, light weights, doing weight training because we want to keep our metabolism up, we want to keep our bones strong, and like cardio exercise because we need to keep our hearts pumping. So those are the three things that we need to be doing. And increasingly, I know I need to stretch every day, so I'm trying to do that. And guess what? My sciatica is much better when I stretch every day. Much better. And I know that. So I just need to do it, right? So no more senior moments. And I need to let you know something. And my computer screen has gone off behind me. Let's get it back up. Okay, so next Thursday, 21st of February, if you watched all the so far on this live video, thank you very much. So we have an event. We are getting together. We are having a magnificent midlife London, UK, not Ontario or anywhere else, meet-up. And we're going to be meeting at 6:30 on Thursday, the 21st of February, at the Riverside Terrace Cafe, which is at the South Bank Centre. It's where the Royal Festival Hall is, South Bank Centre, just south of the Thames River, on the banks of the river. It's a lovely place. And we'll be there at 6:30 until about probably 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, see how it goes. And we're just going to hang out. And you can come whenever you like. The event is on the Magnificent Midlife page on Facebook. So if you want to go and check that out and actually say that you're coming, then I'll know to look out for you. Which always helps, and then I know sort of roughly numbers, so I know what size table I've got to try and commandeer, because I have to lay claim to it early on and stop other people getting it. So that's next Thursday, 21st February. Come along, join us. It's just going to be a laugh. Don't be shy, because I am shy, okay? And if I can do it, you can do it. I am very shy. I'm an introvert. I'm an INFJ. But if I can do it, you can do it. And these things are always wonderful, and I always feel fabulous when I come back from them. They're just brilliant. So, yes. So there you go. So, no more senior moments. Muddled thinking, yes, but don't put the ageist label on it. Don't say senior. Do think about what exercise you need to be doing. Don't assume that if you've got an ache or a pain. The other thing is, that's it. The other thing is my mum, right? My mum, 18 months ago, she was getting very muddled, thinking-wise. And we were very concerned. There was an initial assumption, it wasn't mine, but there was an initial assumption that, this was just ageing and decline. And it turned out she'd had a brain hemorrhage. And she had life-saving brain surgery, and she was as right as rain and cracking jokes as soon as she came around from the anaesthetic. So that, to me, is like the ultimate, don't assume that changes that you see in yourself are age-related necessarily, or that you can just discount them because of age, because there might be something else underlying going on. All right, so that's what needs to be checked out first. Anyway, that's enough of me pontificating for the day. This is my first Instagram live. I don't think anybody has watched it. I don't know if you'll get to watch it later. I don't know how. I'm just going to end it now and see what happens.